So what's up, everybody? Really excited to have you check my live out today. I think one of the biggest things that I'm excited about talking about is just the whole purpose of our role as men and what we believe in, how we see women, how we see life. I got a shout out to everybody on TikTok that'll be coming in. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a whole series that is dedicated to talking about the importance of how we treat women, how we deal with our relationships in everyday life. And so I'm excited about this because I think a lot of times black men have been labeled, have been criticized, have been torn down, have been challenged about the way that we, for one, love our wives, what our image looks like in society, how we govern ourselves and how we talk to women in general. And so I'm really excited about this because it gives us an opportunity to ask the tough questions concerning uh, how do we better love the women in our lives? How do we better love the children in our lives? How do we better love the people that we love and care for? And so I am sitting in here in my junky office, which I am not ashamed of because I put a lot of hard work in. Sometimes I just don't have the time to clean up. Um, Wanting to ask you a series of questions. And so I'm just waiting for people to come online and see more. But here are some of the questions that I want to ask you that's very important. That's going to be a part of our series. Let me be clear. The Black Man series is dealing with high value men, how we love our wives, how we love our children. What is our role now? Because a lot of times men don't know their role anymore because now women have great jobs and they're learning how to provide on their own. They do not need our help. And so, how do we as men better understand and better know how to articulate how we feel and how we um, emote our emotions towards the women that we love, knowing that they could probably make more money than us, probably be more educated than us, or or how do we as men realize the misogyny that we have, the 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 and this is going to sound harsh when I say this, but the behaviors that we have that can come across as a rapist, which is a very strong statement, but it is also true. How we come across and trying to control what we think women should and should not do. And I think this is very important because if we don't have these conversations, we will not be successful. So I want to challenge you. I want to ask you these questions. I want to uh, be able to hear feedback from you as ladies. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to tell you why I do what I do and what I do, and then you can kind of leave on their comments. Hey, does this make any sense at all? And so tonight's topics, what we're going to talk about is things that black men do that are offensive to black women. Things that black men do that are offensive to black women. One of the things that I heard that is that we don't support you, that we don't listen to you, that we don't hear your heart. And I think that's something that is uh, uh, that needs to be addressed. So I'll start with this question, and this for those of you who are uh, on TikTok right now that's watching me live. I want to ask you questions. What are some of the things that you think black men need to address when it's pertaining to you? And if you are someone who is married to a black man and you're not black, this is still a good question to ask because the cultural differences can also be a challenge as well. And so, but these are some of the questions. You can leave them in the comments. One of my guys will be on here in a minute to come talk through this and do this. I'll tell you one of the things that I think is very important that men have missed while you guys kind of think through your questions is how do we properly support black women when we constantly hear that we never support you, that we never encourage you, that we never support you, that we're your biggest enemy when it comes to tearing you down. And I want to say something challenging, ladies. That's easy to say because we're in proximity of you, right? If you're around a lot of black culture, you're around a lot of black men. So a lot of black men can be either good or bad depending on the environment that you're in. Then it also depends on the type of people you hang with too. I'm not defending the behavior. I'm just being realistic about the behavior. But what are some of the things, or why is it that when Black women hear from us, or even white women, Hispanic women, all women, there's just this label with Black men that they are not supportive, that they're not encouraging, that they're not loving. I definitely want to hear from a lot of you ladies on TikTok as well as on Facebook. And we got people on Twitter too, as well, that's watching this broadcast. I wanted to ask this question. So, what are some of the things that you see that we do that makes you feel that we don't support you? Um, and I want you to be honest. It could hurt us. It might hurt my feelings because I'm a Black man, but I think it's important to have the conversation. What are some of the things that you find to be offensive, that you find not to be supportive, that you feel that you are not being loved in when it comes to this area? And so, um, I want to hear from you, ladies. If you could put it on TikTok, you could do that. I'll tell you one of the things that I find to be very common is our language towards women. I think one of the things that men fail to do, Black men do it, white men do it, all men do it actually, Asian men do it, Hispanic, Latinx does it, is when we're rejected. Let's just take something basic. When we're rejected, the first thing we do is curse you out. Not all men, but a lot of men. Uh, uh, we curse you out. And I really struggle with this statement because I see a lot of men get frustrated with a woman when she says, no, thank you. He got to go off. Now, let me explain this to you. Most men that are from the inner city, even from the suburbs, even Black, white, Hispanic, Latinx, from a different country, the one thing men don't know how to do well with is rejection. And we're always taught to be conquerors. So when you're taught to be a conqueror and you're taught to always be in control and to always have this fake swagger, always come across like you running everything, it can be very hurtful and scary when a woman says to you, uh, uh, I don't want to be a part of your life. A woman, not say a part of your life, when a woman says, yeah, I don't want to talk to you, I don't think you're attractive. You know, uh, 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 I haven't been treated with respect as a woman. Every time I tell a man no, he want to go off on me and curse me out. And these things are all true. One of the things somebody said here on TikTok was somebody said too many beta males. Yeah, I don't trust that whole beta male statement. When somebody say beta male, whoever this person is, you ain't got no picture or nothing on here. I don't even know if you're a female or a male. But when you say beta male, what do you mean? What's the definition of a beta male? Here's another one. Hear me and be supportive and enforce the fact that I am beautiful. Yes, that is a big problem with a lot of men. A lot of men don't know how to articulate compliments. And when a man gets in a serious relationship with a woman and he's been with her for a while, he gets comfortable and he tends to get bored because of his immaturity. And he tends to get to the place where he's used to you, that he feels that he doesn't have to continue to work of being romantic, of being of giving compliments, of being supportive to you as a woman. And this is things that men do all the time. I am not going to lie to you. These are things that we need to improve on as men. We do need to improve in how we talk to women. We do need to improve in how we respond to them. We do need to improve in how we relate to them. And this is a tough situation because I think a lot of men go through this and they struggle with manners and consistency. I mean, that's just what it is, man. A lot of men struggle with consistency on being there. So she said, hear me and be supportive in the fact that I am beautiful. Now, the second part you said, well, it was the first thing, but I'm gonna address it now. You said, hear me, hear me and be supportive. What does hear me sound? When you're a woman and you ask this question, what are you asking of a man when you say hear you? Are you saying just listen to what you have to say? Because my motto is first seek to understand, then to be understood. When I say hear you, my perspective is this, guys, that I hear exactly what you're saying. I can communicate back to what you're saying. And then I understand what you want from me and what expectations you have from me after you said it. So those are the things that I think are very important. Number one, have open dialogue like this. I haven't been able to have a respectful conversation like this. Yes, men are not good at articulation. Sometimes we struggle with how we communicate, how we deal with things, right? Um, and this is a strong statement I'm gonna say. If you're a man, one of the biggest challenges that you have consistently is being able to say exactly how you feel and articulate how you feel in a respectful way, in a way that a woman can understand that you really support her. And ladies, here's the challenge that I would have for you. It is hard to support someone or encourage someone when you don't know how they want it done. And a lot of times, I will say this, I want to challenge ladies when I say this to you. You'll have a feeling about what you feel to be wrong, but you won't be able to articulate to him how he needs to change. One of the ladies says, have unconditional love for all Black women, not because I am family, friends, or someone you're attracted to. Is that what you're trying to say? Um, I agree. I think a lot of times it is unconditional love has to also be clear. When someone says, I want you to love me unconditionally, I want you to be faithful to me, I want you to hear my heart, I want you to respect me, I want you to treat me like the queen that I am, what does that exactly mean? And what does that look like? And how am I supposed to operate when you ask me to do certain things that I may not fully understand um, what the expectation is? Everything is based on expectation. Let me say this clearly. Everything is based on expectation. If I don't know your expectation, then I can't meet what you're asking me to do. I can't honor what you're asking me to do. I can't be present in the things that you need for me to do. If you have an expectation of me, but you can't clearly articulate to me as a man how I need to do it, then it's hard. Because one of the things that I realize is that a lot of times people will make a general statement on, oh, I need you to love me this. I just wish you would love me better. Let me use that example. And then you say, well, how would you want me to love you? And then you turn around and say uh, um, things like, better than what you're doing right now. Well, what does that mean? And then some of you have an expectation that we should already know. And most men don't already know. So what's up, Reg? And so I'm asking these questions
Getting the
because I think
sound
they're
together.
very important. I think they're very. Put yourself on mute if you can for a second, Reg. So I'm asking these questions, and
Hold
excuse
on.
our lighting because we're kind of doing this at the last minute, but these are the type of questions that need to be asked. These are the type of conversations that need to be had. If you have an expectation for me to love you a certain way, you have to be clear on what you're asking me to do. And you have to be clear on what your expectation from me as a man. I'll give you a great example. A woman to say, I don't like the way you're talking to me. Can you hear me, Reg? Reg, can
Christian,
you hear me? Reg, can you hear me?
Christian.
I don't think it can hear me.
Yep.
Hold on, let me.
Can you plug me?
Can you hear me, Reg? I put him on mute. So I'm asking these questions because they're very important to me. When you say to a man, I need you to treat me better, then the question is, what are the things that I need to do differently to treat you better? What are the ways I need to act? How do I need to respond? What are the words you want me to say? What are the things you need me to do to show that I am faithful and committed to you in this relationship? Somebody said unconditional love is not realistic in a spousal relationship to me. It can end up toxic. Okay, now I agree and disagree. It depends on how you define unconditional love. Because I can love you unconditionally, but I can still have things that I don't want done to me. For example, I love my kids unconditionally, but I still ground them. I still tell them when they're wrong. There are still limits. They can be put on punishment. They can still do that. Now, I'm not saying that in marriage. I don't want nobody saying I'm saying that in marriage. But unconditional love means my heart doesn't change towards you, right? But the boundaries are needed with you. My heart doesn't change towards you, but the boundaries are needed with you. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. There needs to be boundaries in relationships, because if they're not boundaries, the relationship will fall apart. I love my family. I love my brothers and sisters. I love my wife. I love my daughters. You love your husband. However you want to word it. You care for someone, but you still have to have boundaries with someone. Great example is, if we're going to argue, let's argue the proper way. Doesn't mean I don't love you unconditionally. I just need certain conditions in the conversation. My love is unconditional, but I still have conditions on how we operate and move with one another. I hope that makes sense. She said, facts, boundaries. Yes, definitely. Boundaries are necessary. And let me say this, there's nothing wrong with having boundaries. What couples need to stop doing, and people need to stop doing, is saying stuff like, you ain't gonna control me, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. If I tell you that you're saying something inappropriate, or your words that you're choosing are disrespectful, or they're hurting my feelings, that's not taken away from you. That's just me allowing you to know exactly how I want to be treated. Can you hear me, Reg?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay. And so I want to know what you think about that. I think there are things that needs to happen in relationships that are important. And so let me go back and say, we're going to do a Black Man series. I'm going to interview a whole bunch of women and talk through what their expectations are with me. And in this series that I'm doing, a part of this series is, you're going to see three men having a conversation, talking through life, talking through family, talking through children, talking through how we govern ourselves. And then you're going to see me interviewing women who are married and single, and just listening to what they feel and not making any objectives, not try my best to, right? And not criticize anything they're saying. Why? Because I want to learn to understand how you feel. And then I want to not only understand how you feel, I want to know how you operate. Because I think one of the biggest challenges for men is, we don't know how you operate. You can't blame me for something that you can't articulate to me if that is wrong. That's the thing that most women don't understand about us men. If you get mad at me about something that I did, but you can't tell me in words what that looks like, or you do it, and you do what I think is very heartbreaking to me. You say stuff like, well, you should have known better. No, 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 no. Even if a man has a father, he's still going to struggle, because how he loves you, he has to understand your makeup, your standards, your way to be approached, your way of doing things. And then thirdly, ladies, I need to say this. You can't keep biting me. And then when I bite back, and I don't mean bite back physically, because I don't believe in physical, but I mean say, hey, listen, don't talk to me that way, don't do this. And then you start sharing what you're feeling. It's automatically, I'm a bad person. And let me be clear. I got a grandmama who raised me, my auntie raised me. I got two sisters, and a wife. And I remember, and two daughters. So I'm surrounded by women. And one of the things I say to them all the time that gets on their nerve, I go, if I ask you to respect me, don't think that you are being asked to be less than who you are because of it.
Mm.
And you have to be careful, ladies. Somebody said emotional intelligence. That's exactly what it is. The thing that is also offensive to me is, when I tell you what hurts me, you'll say to me, well, you're a man, you should know better. You should be stronger than that. But then when you, as a woman, you say something like, well, you should be more sensitive to me. You should watch how you do things. No, 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 no. I got feelings too. I need love too. I I want to be held too. I want to be listened to. I want to be able to share my full sentence too. Because those are the things that need to happen in relationships. If you don't do them, then you don't grow. I hope that makes a lot of sense. And so let me give you some of the topics that we're going to have, because I want to make sure you ladies understand what I'm saying. We're going to go through this whole high value man. We're going to go through that. Um, I'm trying to tread softly on this. No, I'll say it, because I think a whole bunch of the Kevin Samuels stuff is garbage. I just think it's straight garbage. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. Reg, you may have a different opinion on it, but
Eh,
I think it's straight garbage. I want to show you something that when we looked at it, that was so important that we needed to cover. And that was very big on it. It says money, $10,000. He said the first thing you need to do is make $10,000 a month. He said everything starts with money. That for me made me, I checked out and I had to pause the video and say, this is the dumbest thing. And then he said you need to make $10,000 a month. Second thing he says, you have to have high performance. So now I got to perform for the person that I love. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
And he
Go
said,
ahead.
you have to have group acceptance, right? I need to be accepted by a high value group. All of this to be in love with somebody. This makes no sense whatsoever to me. Then he said you got to be a part of a social network, right? Then he said you have to be visible. That means you have to be a high profile man, and you also have to be registered on LinkedIn. Do you remember when he said that part?
Yeah, well, he more so said you gotta your kind of like your presence should be kind of like a LinkedIn profile type of thing. Like you walk in the room and you say I'm a such and such, it should be just as clear. Like, okay, I just by you saying who you are and what you do, you should, I look at you as a high value person. That's what he said.
This, John Travolta? So I'm John
And
Travolta now.
it was a lot of surface level. It was a lot of surface level.
Surface. And here was the last thing he said: useful. And so I'm assuming when he says useful, that means helpful to his wife and his family. That's not what he meant. He literally was just talking about money. Let me throw my paper. I mean, it was just the dumbest thing I ever heard. So I'm saying all that because these are the things that we're going to unpack when it comes to high value man. Somebody said not just Kevin Samuels, but a lot of women have this 10K month threshold, right? That's what somebody says on the TikTok. And it said, what are the things that we want and need, but do not say? What are the things men want and need that does not say? So there are a lot of things that we need that we don't talk about, man. I'm gonna write that down because I think that's something that would be a great talking point for us. Make sure you do the same thing, Reg.
You and me both.
Here's the other topic, ladies, that we're going to talk about. Lost my role, because we have this archaic thinking from the past when women just stayed home all day. And it's not archaic because there are some people who love to do that, and there's nothing wrong with it. But to assume that a woman can't have a great career and be a great mother can be a flawed thinking of a man. Fathers have the other thing is fathers have a heart too. Husbands have a heart too. Fathers and husbands have a heart too. We want to make sure that men are able to express their emotions and the challenges that they have, because if we don't, we're going to struggle. I want to give everybody some caveats. I appreciate everybody listening to this because this is something that needs to be said. My opposition to Kevin Samuels' foolishness for me would be character, consistency, commitment, and comprehension. Character is knowing who you are and exactly who you are so you're not a burden to your spouse, because if you lost as a man, you don't know how to love the woman that God has given you. The blessing of her. If you're an insecure man and you got a high performance, because marriage shouldn't be about performance, it should be about character. Let me give you a great example, and I'll let you add to this, Reg. I don't need to just be nice, because nice is a habit. I need to be kind. If I'm nice, I'm just giving you niceties and I'm fake about it. And I'm just doing all this stuff to make you feel good. Niceties, like you're being nice. But character means I'm kind. There's a lot of men who are nice when they're trying to get your number. There's a lot of men who are nice when they're trying to get in your drawers. But he shows he's kind when when you say to him, nah, I don't want to take your number. Or you say, nah, I don't want to sleep with you. I want to take my time to get to know you and build a relationship. And I say this all the time, ladies, please hear me when I say this. Men were born to be kind, right? Born to be trained to be kind, excuse me, but we were taught to be dogs. We were taught to be violent. We were taught to sleep around. We were taught to tear women down. But in the essence, if you're really a truly good father and a good man, you teach your son to be kind.
Right.
Because if he doesn't have character, character is who you are. It's who you are. I can't make you I can give you an image of what I want to be. It's like wearing those glasses with the fanny pack across your chest and talking about high value, man. And you need to, you seen the switching of the sunglasses on. I'm really gonna come for him because I just get tired of seeing the foolishness. But you see this fake imagery, right? And 10 figures. You know how hard it is to make 10 figures? No, you better off getting a man with character, because if everything is based on performance and money, soon as you don't perform, he don't want to be a part of your life. Right? Soon as she gains weight, soon as she don't brush her teeth, I don't know. Like soon as she don't do something that you don't like, right? Because you're a $10,000 man. So you need a woman to have $10,000 habits. But I need to say this, and don't take offense to us, because I know I'm gonna get called a beta male when I say this. But most women in the African American community make more money than black men. They're the leading entrepreneurs in the country right now are black women over everybody. Black women make way more money in salary than black men. So what happens to me? Do I do dishes now? Do I put on an apron? Do I need to have a six-pack every time I come in the house? Think about it, Reg. If we sit here making all these type of statements about how we need to be high performance, this stuff is craziness. I'm looking at some of the young men I mentor right now, and I said I'll let you talk, but I say this: the young men I'm mentoring right now, they will sit with me all day and talk bad about how women need to do this. I need my lady to be this way, and if she ain't faithful to me, I ain't gonna get committed. I tell them the straight up truth, but you broke. You have no savings. You're still trying to figure out who you are. Now, this young lady over here got a degree. She making close to six figures, and she's only 25. Mm-hmm. She's focused. She knows who she is as a person. She got character. Mm-hmm. And you listening to Kevin Samuels, and you broke. You listening to somebody who tailored suits and has been divorced twice. My God. Like, let's just think about this. He got like 40 pair of sunglasses telling you how you need to love a woman. You understand what I'm saying? He don't know how to be. We're talking character, right? I think one of the things that we need to teach men is, how do you love someone and still have an identity? So, all right, I was rambling on about that, but that's just something that is important to me.
No, you were hitting on some good stuff there, Jay. I won't even say he, because the whole Kevin Samuel thing for me, it's honestly, this is a new thing. Just kind of, I got a little download of him today, as far as like some of his videos and stuff like that. So that was my first exposure to him. So I haven't really followed him that much, but for me, I think a lot of the stuff he was talking about, not necessarily how to love a woman, but how to get a woman, just a little bit, just a sample size that I listened to today. It wasn't more so about, long-term relationship type stuff. It's more so how to, quote, bag the woman, you know what I'm saying? Get her, or have a woman want you, right. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff that I just caught today. I'm sure he has, hundreds of videos and stuff like that, but I just haven't listened to a lot of it, but listening to it today, though, I mean, like I said before, like a lot of the stuff was just surface level. So not even going into, okay, man needs to have, a sense of purpose, be a great communicator, be someone that will stand for justice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if you're going to be a high value man, you don't want to just sit by and just let a lot of, bad things just happen, and you just sit by, idly by, and just let stuff happen. Like the things that are going on right now in the country right now, high value men need to be the ones that are, at the forefront. When you think about, the great leaders in the past, you think about your Martins and your Malcolms and, all the great black leaders that we had. By his standard, by the standard that he put out there for that video, those aren't high value men.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the things he talked about was very surface. So for the argument's sake, a high value man. Again, I want to say this so anybody who's listening to this, they understand where we're coming from. A high value man for us is character, consistency, commitment, and comprehension. Comprehension is the sense of understanding exactly the woman you're dealing with and how to love her. You understand who you are and where you are and how to raise your children. Commitment is you ain't going nowhere. Like I tell my wife, and I teach the young men that I mentor, if your wife leaving you, you going with her. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Just tell them y'all catch that when y'all get home. If she leaving me, I'm going with her. Because what has to happen is you have to have a high level of commitment in the marriage. The word, the D word, divorce, has got to be taken out of your vocabulary. You've got to learn how to do that. I'm not saying in abuse or and tearing down, but I'm saying be there. One of the ladies said, I stuck up for him and I affirmed him in his role as my husband, and he didn't have to prove anything. And that's the thing that people don't understand. If somebody's in love with you, it's unconditional, but you are growing. So you can unconditionally love somebody, but still have conditions and boundaries on how that love works. Because I can love my kids all day long, but I'm still going to ground them. I'm still going to do those type of things. Then the other thing is consistency. What people don't take account in, because he talked about this also consistency. He talked about consistency, making $10,000 a month, and you needed to do it for 5 years and
Mhm.
have at least 3 years of consistency. I thought to myself, if a man spent that much time working on his character, he would be so further along. Because here's the thing that people don't talk about: a man can be a better husband and a better father and a better friend and a better son or brother by just actually being consistent in developing their character.
Mm.
What would you say to that?
No, I would say, yeah. I mean, because that's really the core. When you're looking at relationships, if you don't have that character, whatnot, your bank account and stuff don't matter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the one thing that I wish that, he would have touched on, what I'm saying, just talking about, none of it had to deal with your character. It was like, okay, you need to, like you said, earn this much. You need to be around people that earn this much. When you walk in the room, people need to know who you are, type of thing. But none of it like dealt with, okay, if you earn this much, not to say that this you're doing something illegal, but what did you do, to get to that place? You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? How many people did you,
Yeah.
just, squash or step on or whatever, to try to get that, so yeah, just not addressing none of that, the character piece. Yeah, that's a major, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You're missing out.
I don't like the fact that a man has to put on a performance. So let me tell you one of my value systems as I teach young men. Your private practice should outweigh your public performance. You heard me say this for years. If
Mhm.
you as a man have habits that you do privately, you read a lot. Like, for me, my daily routine is I get up, I pray every morning, I get into my word, then I get up, I hit the gym, you know what I'm saying? I work out, I spend time in a space where I can develop and grow as a man, right?
Mhm.
Uh, then I read. I try to figure out more and more how to be a better person so that when I get in front of other people, it's not a performance. Then I
Right.
spend time just reflecting and meditating and thinking through my own personal character and how I treat people and the mistakes that I made and what I need to learn from them. That's a high value man. So if we're going to say high value, we can't put you based on a price tag. We have to put you based on the person, the character, the heart of an individual, right? Somebody said on here, that's very true. I'd rather have a man that makes half that but has the character, and I'm happy. And then somebody says, what you do when no one is looking is who you really are. Facts.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, facts. Your private practice should outweigh your public performance. If I'm in the gym, it's like watching, if I'm in the gym putting up 10 to 15,000 shots, when I get in the game, it's automatic.
Right.
Like people keep talking about Damian Lillard, and Damian Lillard, an NBA player for y'all who don't know, plays for the Portland Trailblazers. I love the statement he said. He said, I spent so much time in the gym. And somebody said, man, what are you doing differently? He said, man, I'm just doing the same thing, but just making adjustments. In other words, I'm still shooting shots. So it becomes natural for you. If I am used to opening the door for a woman, if I am used to being a well-mannered man, and it's not based on whether she gives it back to me or gives me something for it, but I just do it because it's who I am as a man, that don't make you a beta male, and it don't make you a simp. It makes you a man of good character. And I know, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to get criticized for it. But on TikTok, when I have young men and men call me a beta male and a simp, they be broke. And then I go to their profile picture. Now I'm a Christian, so I ain't gonna call you ugly, but you're different now. You're different. I go to your page and you look different and you broke and you looking crazy, you saying all this crazy stuff, and you calling me a simp because I want to respect women and honor them. And I'm a beta male, and you got that. And then I'm looking at you and I'm going to myself, you're so insecure that if I talk about treating a woman with respect, you get mad. And here's the thing that's most astonishing to me. Here's the thing that's most astonishing to me. I get frustrated because the next thing after being called a simp and a beta male is men saying, man, you can't trust these women, man. They ain't no good. They gonna treat you like trash. So you got to get to them before I get to them, before they get to you. You're telling me you're insecure. You're telling me you don't know how to love somebody.
Right.
You're telling me you're broken, man. You're telling me you've not been loved properly. You're telling me that you've never been cared for.
Right. Let me hurt you before you hurt me.
You know, so this is what I want to say about that I think is very important. I want to say this: commitment has to be one of the top priorities in a relationship. If there's no commitment, there's no growth. I think out of these things here, I think consistency and comprehension is definitely important. But I think commitment and character is the top two. Because without character, it's gonna fall apart. It gotta be who you are. It can't be something you just do. That goes back to the reference of just being nice, right? Somebody says they are complaining about the results from the work they didn't do, and that's the thing, and that's the key. What I mean by the character and commitment. If you're committed to something, you're gonna be consistent, right? You're gonna have to learn it to be better at it. If I want to be a better man, well, I'll say this and then I'll ask you this question. If I want to be a better husband or father, I gotta know what a husband and father is. Mm-hmm. And then before I can become a husband and father, I gotta be a man. Then I gotta know what a man is. If I want to be a better man, then I gotta realize where I am as trying to be a better man. Am I a boy? Am I in high school? It's like sports, man. And ladies, hope you can follow when I say this. It's like you either on the intramurals team, you playing college ball, or you pro. If you're in intramurals, you don't know what you're talking about. You weren't good enough to be on a team. You weren't good enough to go pro. You ain't gonna make it, right? If I am in college, that means I'm learning how to treat a woman, how to understand her, how to better comprehend the things that she's struggling with, how to treat her. I'm getting to understand. I'm in that learning phase. If I'm in the pros, that means I put in the work to get drafted, right? Mm-hmm. Married, I got a family, and I got to work now. I'm a professional, like me and you, we're professional dads. We're not perfect dads, but we're professional dads. We don't get to sub out.
No, we don't. But you know what? But the good thing about that is even we're in the pros, but we're trying to work towards Hall of Fame status right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we still learning, and that's the great thing about it. Just because we're in the pros don't mean we don't have to keep learning or keep growing. I think that's the great thing about it, because it's a continual progression.
Yeah.
So, even though we're in the pros, we're trying to get to the Hall of Fame now, so we're gonna keep grinding, mess up here and there, keep learning, keep growing, and love them till, until we don't have any more breath in us. So I think that's the good part about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's good. What would you say to, because one of the things that I'm struggling with this next generation is that young men gravitate to people who haven't really established anything in relationships, loyalty, faithfulness, commitment to a woman, but they have established themselves in money. And so most young men equate money with success for family. And most women equate trust, loyalty, and faithfulness. It's sad to say sometimes a woman would be willing to build faster with a man than a man would be faster to build with a woman. Am I wrong in that?
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
That a, that a woman would be willing to build faster in a relationship that can be healthy faster than a man would. Most men think I need to provide. Most women think let's come together as one.
Yeah, because I think, as a whole, I think when we look at black men today, and just, just a lot of the things, and I know, the black females will say, yeah, we had it just as hard, but just where we are today, I think is more insecurity, and from the black male, and more things that we feel that we have to prove than it would be for a black female. So they're like, okay, yeah, I can build, because they can let their guard down. It's hard for us, what I'm saying, to do that, what I'm saying, just to continually, getting beat up, over
Yeah,
the years. And it's just that much harder, what I'm saying, just to kind of like let that guard down,
yeah.
and try to do it, and make that commitment. So yeah, I agree. I agree with that statement.
Okay. And when you say hard, I think one hard for us to do is men won't be honest about how they feel emotionally.
Hmm.
Therefore, it's hard for them to be able to know how to handle it financially. See,
Hmm.
one of the things that I realized by being raised by my grandmother, you know what I'm saying? Mildred Thompson was the bomb. You understand? Because she was on some, when we were really struggling, right? Financially, when I was a kid, she would say, well, we got each other.
Mm.
And then my brother, who had to play the role of a father to me sometimes, if money wasn't right, he was mad, right? He ain't want to, and that's how we typically are as men. We don't talk to nobody. And then you hear older men say, well, if he ain't mad about having no money, then he ain't no real man. Well, why can't I just be sad?
Right.
It sucks to be broke. It
Yeah.
sucks not to be able to pay a bill when you need to pay it on time. You know how it was when we first got married when we were young. And
Hmm.
and you seeing everybody else not to taught not to be emotional about it. The first thing we say when we struggling on paying something, what's the first thing come out our mouth as men? I got it. I'm
Right.
gonna handle it. I'm gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
No, and
Yeah. Yeah.
daggone well, inside we like, what we gonna do,
Don't
yo?
know what we gonna do. What we gonna do?
That doesn't make me less of a man because I struggle. It makes me a better man. And the sad thing is, sometimes we would do better to do like the women in our lives do. A woman be like struggling and she say, babe, what we need to do. And
Hmm.
we assume that that only applies to us as men, that they should do that to us as men because we're the head of the household. Nah,
Hmm.
man. Yeah, listen, I'm going to be like, hey, I love you, babe. I'll do the work, but I don't know what to do right now. I'm struggling. And then we got to get past our pride because sometimes
Right.
one thing about women, they know how to pull their money together. They can be mad at each other and still help each other out. We ain't like that at all. I've seen my sister girlfriends have a big fight one day, and I was a kid, and her husband and her were struggling to pay the rent. And she was like, yeah, girl, I ain't talking to you right now, but me and my husband need to pay this rent, and I just need to get it taken care of. I'll get it back to you. She was like, yeah, I don't want to deal with you either, girl. Come get this money. I was like, men don't do that. We don't have that. We have the capacity, right? We have the
Yeah, we do.
capacity,
We
but
do.
we choose not to do that because we find humiliation and be watch this. We find humiliation in being humble.
And being humble. That's
Isn't that
exactly what
crazy?
I was
That
ready to
blows
finish it.
my
Yep.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
We find ourselves to be, and they both synonymous in one another as words, right?
Right. Yeah. And yeah, because I was ready to finish that sentence for you. When you said it, I was like, yep. That pride, man, is it's a monster, man. It is a monster. And you don't know how many guys have struggled longer. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody goes through a little valley here and there, but
Yeah,
it's some of us have gone through stuff a lot longer than what we should have just because of pride, you know what I'm saying? And not
yeah,
being able to reach out to your brother, and to a brother, and just be transparent, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. I honestly want to say that. I honestly want to say, I believe we're overly emotional when we're prideful. I think we're, I think we're being in our feelings too much. If you're so humiliated, if you feel humiliated because you can't take care of your family based on the image of other people, you miss the whole mark.
Right.
I should feel hurt that I can't provide for my family more than I feel hurt that I didn't provide for my family and people know about it. It's just the
Right.
weirdest thing. That's why your
Right.
private practice needs to outweigh your public performance. That's why some of the information that Kevin Samuel gives you is so stupid, because if you ain't making 10,000, you just don't matter no more. Because the average salary of all men in this country is not even past $55,000. So that, and only 1% hitting, only maybe 10% is hitting the whole.
That's
Well, I
six
say
figure.
15%. Yeah, that's six figure. You know what I'm saying? And comfortable six figures.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we lying to ourselves about the reality of where we are as men? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I just,
Yeah. I mean, when with the checklist, that he gives, um, it's actually more men that could probably make it, quote, in that by those standards than what actually would need to be in there. You know what I'm saying?
but here's the problem with the list. If you go by those six qualifications Kevin Samuel got, more black women meet them than black men do.
Yeah, that's true.
This list, black women do this more than we do. And it's a shame. So now I feel humiliated because I'm a man who has to be honest about the fact that.
Mhm.
So think about this in our society right now, Reg. You have more black women with six figures, right? And there are more women in it. It's 28, it's 21 million men in the world, right? 21 million. And that's all ages. That's not grown men. It's just 21 million, right?
Hmm.
There's 46 million people in the 46 million blacks. There are over 25 million African American women. The majority of the African American women make six figures. So Kevin Samuel's list, based on the numbers and qualification, the ratio to a man and a woman, right, is very high. But there are more women with six figures than there are men with six figures. And he created a standard for a man that a lot of women have already accomplished. And so now you have black women who had to deal with misogyny, bigotry, and disrespect from us also as black men. They're now making very good money. And they don't want to lower their standard. But there's more of them out there at six figures, and there's less men in the world. And then there's less men making that same type of money. So what Kevin Samuels pitching to them is virtually impossible. Think about it. If you just go by the numbers, men lie, women lie, but God and numbers don't. You understand? So so
Right.
so so how in the world can a man, he may have more options of who might be attracted to him physically, but he may not match up performance-wise or monetarily
Right.
or educated. Well, now a lot of African American men are being highly educated, but that's a big challenge right now.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean that number though. So you figure 10,000 a month. That's 120 grand a year. Um, I mean it's a number. You know what I'm saying? It's a number. There's a lot of people that can live very successfully, very comfortably. You know, making less. A little bit less than that. Some making a lot less than that. It's all about just the lifestyle that you choose to live. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say that you don't have money in the bank. If I make 75,000 a year, I mean, I may have a nice bank account. I may have investments, all this other stuff. My net worth may be somewhere on up there some more. But it's all about what you do with what you have. You know what I'm saying? Being a good steward. So if I'm bringing in 10,000 a month, if I live a lifestyle where I'm living this on the same level as someone that makes 50,000 a year, then am I really a high value, man? You know what I'm saying? If I'm making foolish decisions with my money. So even though you say, okay, because I earn this much, you're not saying how good of a steward are you with it? You know what I'm saying? It's not about what you make, it's what you keep.
Yeah, yeah. One of the ladies says, yeah, yes, that's not necessarily the take home, after taxes and all that.
Right, 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 right.
And as somebody who myself who's an entrepreneur, you know, I just went through a 2 year bad season just because of pandemic and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm business savvy. So how I am, an entrepreneur. So I'm always like, I was like, soon as I get out of this, I'm gonna do this. And it clicks already for me. So I'm in the stewardship phase. I'm
Right.
not in the phase, can I make it? I mean, literally just did one project and it was amazing. And they gave me a big check. And I was thinking, and the first thing I thought, how's the kids doing? I know I got my one-on-one with my daughter today, just to
Mm-hmm.
hear about her day. Now, before, me, I was always work, 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 work. And I was high performance, and it almost devastated my whole family. When I was struggling financially, look, I'm one of them people. I don't lie about making money. Money can be made and lost. The Lord giveth, the Lord take it away. It is what it is.
Right.
But when I was struggling, I was more present. I was more needy for God. I was more dependent on my family because
Mm-hmm.
I had been humiliated. Now, if I'd have made good money and just stayed humble, I'd have been fine. So this go round is kind of like, okay, I signed a big contract. I'm gonna do all these different things. Y'all walk with me through my season because everything for me was performance. And we had this conversation. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie about where I'm at, right? I know how to make money, but I didn't know how to be a good father. I didn't know how to be a good husband. I didn't know how to be a good friend. I could I could coach other people, but it wasn't part of my character. I had to, and my brother and I had this conversation. He's like, "No, you always been a good dude." He's like, "You just not focused," and that's what I just went through a season of being focused. So like, 'cause I'm a pro now, right? I'm not in the mirrors where I don't know nothing. I'm not in college where I haven't learned. I'm in the pros where I just need to be a good man. And now I'm struggling, and now I'm making money again. I'm still struggling. I'm not struggling financially, but I'm struggling emotionally
Mm-hmm.
because I'm being drained more because I don't have the mental capacity, the spiritual capacity, or the emotional capacity to love the way I needed to love properly. I had to grow up. True.
Yeah,
So, like
that's
I said, give y'all's examples of the most important aspect of faith, family, and being in your truth as a man. Reg, write that down. Because
say it again. Yes, say it. Say it again.
who is this
Say it again.
on here? I need to get her on Water by Lots because she be dropping gems.
Say it
Jasmine
again.
Singleton. Okay, Miss Jasmine, you be on fire. Give your give y'all's example. Got a little country in there, you did, of the most important aspects of faith, family, and being in your truth as a man.
The most important aspect of
Faith, family, and being in your truth as a man. Oh, this is good. I eat this up.
faith, family,
I've
and
been through this process for the last 2 years, just figuring out my identity. So I would say, she said, give your example of the most important aspect of faith. The most important aspect for me is submission and surrender. if I, and this is just me, I don't know what your faith is on TikTok, but for me, I'm a Christian. One of the most important things that helped me to become successful, I said this to my wife, I say it to my kids. When I surrender my whole life to God, everything that I put my hands to turns out well. And
Mm,
even when I don't like what he tells me to do, the results are still what he wants. You hear what I'm saying? The results, because it ain't about what I want. I gotta put him first.
right.
So when I started doing my devotions and not doing everything, and when you say devotions, mean getting my word, praying, and not reading the Bible just because it was a routine. Told you I'm a pro. I know how to be in the game, but I had to have love for the game. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
I started spending time with him just for my own character. It made everything I did touch well. Even some of the business decisions that I made, even some of the projects that I'm on right now, they're doing so much better because I did that. The second thing that I think was very important, she said, was family. So, family for me has to be a priority structure. And most men don't like when I say this, and some women don't like when I say this, but I'm going to say it. It's God, your spouse, and then them kids. As kids grow up and
Yes,
leave,
sir.
and you pour all your time into your
Yep.
kids, especially you moms, y'all gonna come for me. That's all right, moms. Come for
Yep.
me when you want. You
That's
spend
it.
so much time pouring into your kids.
Mm-hmm.
When they gone, you feel like you have no life. Now you could have been dating that knucklehead that's in your house. You could have been spending time with him, or you spend. And then those of you who don't have kids, or your kids are older, you're always with your girlfriends. Then when your girlfriends get a man, they looking at you like you crazy. See what I'm saying? Same thing with dudes who want to play ball all day. You remember me, right? It's always in the
Yeah.
always in the tournament. And then one day, Julie came into the world and it's like, hold up. Jackie ain't care nothing about them games. I was dropping 25 a game. She ain't care nothing about that. They come get the kid. This
Right.
child had me up all night. I'll never forget big argument going to a tournament and realizing, I think remember that time I brought Julie to the tournament?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Oh no, I
It
don't
was like
know.
the last year I played. I was done.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, give your example of the most important aspect. I think for me, Jay, I think with those same things there, with the faith part, for me, I think was, um, I mean, you touched on it some, anyway. Just I think just having that submission and that surrender, to what God needs to do, in me. I'm a PK, for those who don't know, that's a preacher's kid. So I grew up with, um, in a great home, mom, dad, whatnot. But church was a normal part of my, everyday life growing up. You know what I'm saying? And with that, um, I think there was a place where I had to learn what an authentic relationship with God was. I used to, figure I could, do this whole Christian thing by just riding my dad's coattails. He was Reverend Carter. So, I figured I could do that. But when I made the actual decision for myself and start living myself, walking it out daily, I was about in my about almost mid 20s. And I was in the military. So it was, my whole world changed, just how I looked at things, how I looked at women, how I looked at family, how I looked at myself. That was a huge thing for me, and it's been definitely a journey, what I'm saying. I think, still have, sometimes, we have our little struggles here and there, but I think overall, just my faith and just knowing that God, has a plan for me, that he loves me. That's huge for me, knowing that God loves me, even, those times when you don't feel like, you feel loved, like you could be loved, just knowing that God loves you,
Yeah.
that's a huge part of the faith. That's something that is, no one can give you that. What I'm saying? You have to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, what I'm saying, that God loves you, that he has a plan for you, that he wants the best for you. You have to believe that. You have to believe that, because the world will send you so many other messages that will have you running and chasing after all kind of things. So that
Yeah.
was one of the things for me for faith. As far as family goes, I think the balance, and I learned a lot of that, being around JT and being with JT, um, learning is some learning to say no. I think was one of the the key moments for me. Saying no as far as like to other things that would take me away from my family. I just recently, at the end of last year, stopped working a second job that was taking me out of the home a lot.
Yeah.
And it was a faith walk and a family commitment. I was like, I'm gonna trust God that He's gonna provide. I'm not gonna miss a thing.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be there because I have two boys,
Yeah.
and just wanted to be there more and be present and just and God bless, in that sense. Haven't skipped a beat, anything like that. I take my son to his martial arts and stuff like that, 3 times a week, and just
Yeah.
being there and just trying to be more present. So on the family sense, that was something that was huge for me. That was huge for me.
Yeah. I think one of the things that people don't understand that black men need to understand a lot in our community, and I'm gonna say all men, because I don't know why people be fronting like black men the only one who don't struggle with this, is learning how to be present in your relationships. Like you could pay a bill, but it's just something very cold about a man who will pay a bill but won't hug his wife when he sees her. He'll pay a bill, but he won't tell her that she's just pretty. You look nice today. Or,
Mhm.
I missed you today. How was your day? You know, um,
And expect
and,
nothing in return.
and yeah, and expect nothing in return,
Right.
and don't assume that just because you pay a bill, that makes you a good spouse.
Right. That's what
You
you're
know what I'm
supposed to
saying?
do. Right.
And a lot of people don't like to hear that because when you tell another dude that everything with us is ambition. Everything is ambition.
Mhm.
Everything is how much money you make, what you dress like, what you got going on. Do you know most of we got Quince, uh, and we got uh, Big Milton. Like we got a whole bunch of friends that are very wealthy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We talk all the time. We all dress like bums. I don't understand it. This stuff Kevin Samuel be saying, he be lying. Like we don't be doing that. If you're an entertainer, you in that lane.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm cutting grass, bro, making 6 figures. Ain't nobody care about no t-shirt and no sweaters and no sunglasses and no designer hat. I'm thinking, man, let me get the shower and go to bed, or let me get a shower and go put the t-shirt on so I can go watch it because I'm leaving from a and that's what makes this stuff not reality because I'm leaving from work that I'm making good money from to go to my kid's game to put a t-shirt on that has his school on it. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? I'm I'm
Right.
I'm switching that out for an apron to go to the grill, right?
Mhm.
So I can make something for the family. I'm switching from that to change because something broke under the sink or doing all that. Because people who make good money cheat, don't want to pay for nothing. We try to do it myself type mentality, right? So I think that's the part that's just such a lie that's so presented. And then if you say, man, I love my wife, I want to be friendly to her, I want to make sure she's okay. All of a sudden, you a simp. It and ladies, let me say this. And fellas, I need to say this. Ain't nothing more offensive to a man who loves and cares and provides for his family to be called a simp by a different looking broke young man. Man, that burns
Mhm.
my gizzards. That set my soul on fire. I get so frustrated, because I got a little younger brothers and I got young men I mentor. I be like, I tell them all the time, it makes me irate that you want to call me a beta male with your broke, non-committed, non-taking care of your kid's self. I feel some kind of way. You know what Kevin Samuel said? I said, I'm the one here spending time with you. I'm the one here with you. Kevin Samuels in here with you. You don't make enough to be his friend. You understand? It's like I'm sitting here
Right.
trying to pour into your life. I'm telling you about stocks and IRAs, and I'm telling you about how to budget your money. I'm telling you about getting an education. I'm telling you about the craft you want to get into. I'm learning to teach you how to network. And it's crazy, man. Some of the most wealthiest people dress like bums because they ain't about the car or the house. The Ferraris is for them infomercials that they try to sell you with the scams on that. You know what I'm saying? So when you
Mhm.
have a whole following telling you something, there's no real authenticity to the relationship that you're being taught to. a high value man
Mm.
starts with character. So let me say this. I want to say this, Reg, and then I'll let you expound upon it. There's a difference between high value man and a high income man. You can be a high value man and not have a high income yet.
Right.
You can be a high value man where you have character, your consistency, and you can comprehend, but you may not have the coins yet.
Mm-hmm.
You may not make the financial goal right there. And at the end of the day, a woman of true substance and character is going to take a high value man over a high income jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is something about a man who has yet to understand the value of money. Because a high income man, and all he thinks about is money, is he's always thinking about what he can get, who he can take advantage of, and what he can do. A high income man, a high value man is thinking how I'm going to steward my money, how I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to provide for my family, how I'm going to care for them. Let me make it more simplistic. High income, it's about me. High value, it's about we. No, no, a high value man is thinking about his family. High income man has a price tag. High value man is priceless. As my daddy would say, I'm preaching right now. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So this is the part nobody wants to talk about because in order for you to be a high value man, you have to have a kindness and a love and a compassion that lets you know that everything that I earn is to provide for the ones that I love.
Mm-hmm.
A high value man thinks legacy,
Yeah. There you go.
right?
There you go.
A high income man sometimes just thinks last name. Like, oh, my name, don't mess up my name. You carry the name and all that. I know a lot of rich jerks. Me and you both know. I ain't saying no names because they probably right. Don't matter how much money. I wouldn't want to hang with them. I don't trust as far as I can spit. I can't spit that far. You feel me?
Right.
Because they don't have any value, right? They
Well,
don't.
well, well. Even in that, I mean, they have a value to someone because someone, um, to someone, you know what I'm saying? Someone that's looking for what
Money.
they have, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing that I think is the biggest um kind of misnomer about the whole thing. It's like it's not just one even what we're saying right now, that's not like the only thing because we have a belief system and they have a belief system. Understand? So Kevin Samuel has a belief system, and in his belief system, in his world, then he qualifies as a high value man. In your and my belief system and in our world, that's not true. Ours is it's different. You know what I'm saying? So it's not to tread or beat down him or anybody else as far as that, if that's the route that they want to go. But for everyone, because everyone has a choice at the end of the day as far as like,
That's
okay,
what.
how you want to live your life. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
why me
What?
and you on. That's why me and you on the show together. Because I
Yeah.
ain't thinking what you thinking. I want to beat down his whole theology, his whole metric system, his whole thought process. It's the worst thing, especially for our young African American men. To hear
Mhm.
somebody tell young black men all the time that you have no value unless you have all six of these things. You need to make $10,000 a month. You need to perform. You need
Well,
you need to
right,
have
right, right. And I
relationships.
will say, because I did listen to that
Come on.
thing all the way through, and I think at the end he did give some grace there, and it's like, yo, if you're not there, I'm not saying that you're less than, you're less than, he did say that because I
You know
listened to
what, Reg?
that thing. I forgot
You
how
know
long
what,
that
Reg?
thing was.
I need you to watch his videos because he lying. If you
Yeah,
watch the videos that
I've
he
only
talks about,
I've only saw two.
bro, you got to watch the videos where he be like, "You're high." He does this. This is, and I hope people on TikTok listen to me. Get mad. I could care less. I just need this to be said. He'll have a woman on. He'll ask her weight, her height, her age, her age, and then the number of children he has. He
Mm,
has called women Emmett Smith, silverbacks.
Oh,
I mean, and this is a black man
silverback.
rating black women. And then when black women get on TikTok and they get on Facebook and they get on Instagram and say black men don't care about us, he's at the pinnacle of popularity. Right? Now watch this. I want to show you how broken the system is. He winds up going on an interview to be interviewed by No Jumper, which is owned by a porn star. He's the dude he got interviewed as a porn star, and he loved everything Kevin Samuels was saying. He was eating it up. And I'm sitting there going, this is the worst. I cannot believe this. Then he goes on a show, and you know this person. Then he goes on a show with Joe Buttons.
Joe Budden? Oh.
You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then he goes on the show, and he talks about women badly. But then when he gets to meet another woman that's very cute, I forgot the young lady's name, and she's attractive, it's whatever. I forgot the girl's name, but he's on an interview with her, and he's treating her like a queen. But any woman that was over age, he thought wasn't acceptable, that was overweight to him, that had more than 2 children, and they were over 30, was useless. Like think of that mentality. You and I both you've seen me marry people who have had multiple kids to dudes that make 6 figures. And I'm sitting here listening to this stuff is fake. 9 times out of 10, most of the guys we know that make good money, they don't even want those girls who had all the plastic surgery that ain't. Right. I remember I ain't gonna say his name. We're in church. He's like, man, I don't want to date nobody that ain't had no kids. He said, because she ain't even gonna understand what I'm going through. I need somebody that's seasoned. You remember the old guys who say, I need somebody seasoned. I don't need no drama. I need a grown woman. I ain't married about. I don't care about stretch marks, all that. But when you listen to him talk, he puts you in this bubble, and most of his followings are 35 and under.
I did see that. This is his YouTube was like 750,
and most of them are young men under 35 that don't make 6 figures and single, and they got kids. And what's mind blowing is you got men who like, yeah, I don't want no woman with multiple kids, who got multiple kids saying they don't want no woman with multiple kids. It's mind boggling. And it's young men who has this notion that because someone has kids, they don't know it. And me and you both know women who have multiple kids that's making 6 figures, 175,000. I can name 10 right now that's single, and watch Kevin Samuels and be laughing because like you're perpetuating something that's not realistic.
Right. Which I mean, yeah, I mean, and this is one of the things, man. I think it's unfortunate.
I'm not just making it about him. Let me just be clear.
Right.
Well, in this last tangent, I'll be lying if I say that. But it's just frustrating to see somebody teach young men something that's not reality. Like, this is not reality. Nobody like us and me and you who work really hard to get where we are financially to turn around and just want to get somebody who just wants to spend our money all day and be a trophy on our arm. I mean, we're married, but I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
I'm not gonna work, but I'm cheap. I ain't never even been to a strip club, so we already know I'm a weirdo. I would work 40 hours to throw my money away in 3. I don't work 40 hours to throw my money in 3.
Right.
That don't make sense to me. Yeah. And I remember when I was young in the Navy, you know how it was when we was in the military, everybody wanted to go. I said, man, we just did a 14-hour day on a boat. And we get paid on the 1st and the 15th. And you want me to go to a strip club?
Right.
Where we got a mandatory $200 stack? I took my black behind to Applebee's and went and watched the movie by myself, and they clowned me. Right. But you know how it is in the Navy. Hey man, I'll pay you back on the 1st, man. You know what I'm saying? Soon as they came from the strip club, everybody wanted to. I was taking all these foods out to eat, and I was taxing everybody. Oh yeah, that's $15. I'm gonna need a 20 on that though. I kept a little notepad. I'm a savage.
Right, because you done threw all your money away.
I'm a savage.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because there's so much lying to these young men about reality, about money and relationships. I don't know, Reg. I'm glad we're talking about this. I think we're gonna be more concentrated, guys. Right now, I'm bantering back and forth about it.
Yeah, we're gonna have Shamar on with us next time, right?
Yeah. We're gonna have Coach Shamar, who is actually a licensed life coach that could talk through this. So, guys, I appreciate y'all being on here, man. Um, I know I've said some pretty direct stuff, man. You know, I think it's important for us to really end on this note, and I'll take maybe just 5 minutes on this note. Um, what are some of your expectations of our conversations? I want the young men and the young ladies who watch this. My phone is blowing up too. Some of my young guys is like, I know you're talking about me. Yes, I'm talking about you, fool.
Get it together.
Get it together. I love them, but I don't play, man.
But you know what? But Jay, that's what we have to do, though. I mean, appreciate you. You having this platform, and you're not at 750,000 people listening to you right now. But I mean, but what we have to do is each one have to teach one. You know what I'm saying, and do what we can. You know what I'm saying, just to make sure we putting out an alternative message. Because if we let just one voice, or one message just be the only message out there for our young, black men and black women, then we're doing a disservice to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the things. What are some of your hopes for young men? I want to know what some of your hopes is for young men, because our content is actually tailored to young men, specifically uh, the generation that's coming up before us. My passion is in this area. I'll explain mine, but I'll let you go ahead and say yours.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I've been working, in this nonprofit thing, working with youth, for almost 20 years now. So my hope for young men is that, that one, they will see, the value in themselves. You know what I'm saying? Know that, have a sense of purpose about them. You know, I know a lot of times, young men can see some bad examples, coming up, deal with a lot of trauma, a lot of things that shapes, kind of their mindset going forward, which is unfortunate. So it takes some time to kind of tear some of that stuff down. You know what I'm saying? So my hope is that men will have, a better sense of who they are. You know what I'm saying? A sense of self.
Hmm.
Not be caught up in the dogmatic, just what the world standard is of quote what a man should be. Be able to tap into that God that's within them. You know what I'm saying? And be able to know that that God loves them,
Hmm.
and be able to have that sensitive side. I'm kind of a softy guy anyway, but I think that helps. That's actually is some strength in that. You
Yeah,
know what
very
I'm
much
saying? And
so.
just
Very much.
understand, that um, it's okay to be able to lean on your brothers. Be able to kind of glean from some of the more mature and some of those men that have been through some things. Don't feel like, oh, just old head. You just talking. You don't know what you're talking about, type of thing. And just thinking, that they may know it all and haven't really experienced anything yet. So just being open for some, to receive some wisdom. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So and just how to open up and how to be able to communicate effectively as far as what's going on in their hearts, in their minds,
Mhm.
and just deal with it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because everybody's going through something.
yeah. I think that's good. I think exactly what you're saying is so important. I think men need to be honest about where they are and stop allowing these entertainers, man, to to make us think that a good man has to have an image more than he has to have consistency and character, right?
Mm,
And
yeah.
comprehension and commitment. I'm going to say those four things again: character, consistency, commitment, and comprehension. Um, One of the things that we have
That's
to
good.
do is we have to put out good content. And for those of you who want to know, this will be on the podcast. James Taylor Jr.'s podcast. I also put the audio on our weasmen.com website, .org, excuse me, to help men, just to encourage men. Um, um, for us, me and Reg and Shamar, um, I'll say it this way jokingly. I like being called a simp because I'm simply amazing. Okay. You call me what you want to call me, player. I have no problem with that. Uh,
Right.
you can call me a beta male, you know what I'm saying? But You know, beta to another person and beta to me is two different things. And so I think one of the things that my goal is that men and women, when they listen to our content and our platform, is that we're encouraging them to have healthy relationships. If we can
Mhm.
see people not get a divorce and understand both of you are acting like jerks and you need to grow up, right? If we can
Mhm.
help a young man, yeah, you having a lot of money don't make you no good man. You know, what you want to do is leave a legacy. You want to be a good husband. If it can help a young lady that didn't have a father go, hey, you know what? I like what they be saying on that podcast. I'm gonna look for that, and then create environments where they do that. And I'm gonna go far with mine. You know, we're gonna do socials out here where we have get-togethers where singles can just hang out and get to meet each other. And we ain't doing no background check and all that done. I ain't doing it all that stuff. I ain't getting into do you make six figures and all that. No, but just create an environment where people can get to know each other. Past this COVID, of course, and not feel like they're less than. See, one of the things about being a secure man, and I'm going to close with this part, being a secure man makes you realize that you will get a lot of insults for being kind. You will get a lot of insults for being consistent, and you will get dogged for being faithful.
Mm.
Because we're taught as men to be animals, right? Instead of servants.
Hunters, man,
Yeah,
hunters. Yep.
hunter gatherers, right?
Yep.
But when you become a servant to your wife and to your kids, I'm writing that book called Mr. Irrelevant. The most important man is the one you don't see while he does the work. Mr. Irrelevant, the most important man is the one you don't see but does the work. Why? Because when you're working, your kids are growing, your marriage is growing, your family is growing, and you're known by your fruit, not by your brag, by your car, by your truck, by your house. You're known by what your kids become, how your spouse feels about you. And these are the things that we need to start teaching young men that there's a value in that because you're gonna die and you ain't nobody. Listen, if you're a horrible husband and a horrible father, your kid's gonna bury you and go spend your money.
Mm-hmm. Wait.
That's what they're gonna do. But if you're a good father, your kids are going to take the money that you give them and they're gonna do the work that you did. Your ceiling as a man is your children's floor.
Mm-hmm.
They stand on who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ain't nothing to stand on, you ain't but sinking sand. You feel me? So I say all that to say I appreciate y'all today. I know we got passionate a lot. We talked about this. Um, always remember to do your best, and always remember to love, to pray, to serve, and to share. Thank you for listening to me and my boy Reggie C. We will be back next week. Check this episode out on my podcast, Mr. James Taylor Jr. Mr. James Taylor Jr. That's my podcast. You can check it out on We As Men. I might put the audio because I'm about to buy all my boys ring lights. Well, Shamar got ring lights. Reg, you need a ring light. I need a ring light. I'm sitting in the dark.
Yeah. I'm not using mine correctly. I have one right here, but I
Okay,
don't even know
okay.
what I'm
So,
doing.
so
Yeah.
we need to upgrade. That's
Yeah.
how much to tell you too. And I'm overpricing my ring light. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, man. Why we gotta cost so much? My daughter's like, Dad, this is what it costs. No, I don't want to do what you do. This ain't no TikTok dance. I ain't paying for that type of stuff. But anyway, so man, we appreciate everybody on TikTok. We appreciate everybody on Facebook. Where we on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, man. Y'all have a great
Awesome.
day.
Awesome.
Love, praise, serve, and share. God bless.
God bless. God
We
bless.
out. We out.